Hey there, Gemini Ascendant. This is the Ascendant Forecast taking you from Monday, the 8th of December, right the way through to Sunday, the 14th of December, 2025. And now, if you listened to me before, if you listened to last week, you'll know that I was priming you that you're coming to an end of a pattern that started at the beginning of autumn, where you've been really coming to acknowledge your social skills, really understanding how they link into your career and your way of appreciating yourself. I think you've been learning a lot of really helpful things. You've also been shocking yourself a little bit in this last season, with Uranus dancing around in between Taurus and Gemini, and then a whole series of oppositions that have happened in this particular season that have really brought to question, what it is to be individual right now and what you're about. So as we start this week, we're going to be building on that theme and also finally letting it go. It really feels like we're just recapping on it and then getting ready to shift into a whole new pattern. And that's the thing that I think I'm most excited about. Other things that are happening, I would say there's a really lovely moment where Neptune goes direct. And at the same time, we've got the last of the Uranus oppositions. And then finally, we've got Mercury going into Sagittarius. All of this stuff is going to be absolutely about you having a revelation, a sense of release, and also a potential for reorientation. So that's the angle I'm looking at it from in this week ahead. If you're new to this channel, my name's Louisa. Welcome to Feel Good Astrology. I hope you find it helpful. I'll be doing a Western tropical whole sign forecast, and as I get going, I'll show you what that looks like in your birth chart. Maybe you already know what your birth chart looks like, and that would be helpful. Most people that follow this channel do have a concept of what their chart looks like. Most people actually have a really good idea of astrology that follow this channel. I'm very lucky. I've got some really great supporters here. So anyway, as I get going, let me just first quickly say thank you to all the people that support my channel, support the things I do, whether it's historical or on a regular basis. You've really sort of transformed my life, and I really appreciate you for that. So thank you so much. And these are the two charts I'm going to be looking at in this week ahead. So as we start this week on Monday the 8th at midnight on, in between the 7th and the 8th, the moon is, and this is from London because this is a time zone that I'm working from. The moon is almost about to go into the sign of Leo. And then as we get to the end of the week, the moon has moved and shifted around almost to the end of the sign of Libra. And so it's really going through your 3rd, 4th and 5th house in this week ahead, which I'll absolutely be touching on as we venture forwards. You'll also notice that during this week, Mercury starts off in the sign of Scorpio, but ends in Sagittarius, and Mars is getting ready to move into his next sign as we head into next week. So as you can see, I've listed quite a few different aspects and positions that I think are interesting. Now, before I dive right in, do you know what somebody said in my comments? I wish you wouldn't say dive right in. It's really hard for me because I don't have any scripts as I'm looking through this. I'm literally just ad-libbing and looking at charts and saying. So if you were that person that said, oh, please stop saying that, I really don't like it when you say that, forgive me because it just comes out. So anyway, this is a whole sign Western tropical forecast. Now, what that means is that there's one sign in each of these sections. Each of these sections is known as a house. And we've got a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, right the way round to the 12th house. We count them from, if you're looking at it as a clock face, from 9 o'clock. And so when you look at your birth chart, you see that you've got the symbol for Gemini, which is here, and also the symbol for Cancer in your 1st house. Then it's also worth listening into the Cancer forecast too, because there'll definitely be some crossover and resonance there for you. But anyway, this is what I'm really excited about. So first of all, on Monday, the 8th of December, the moon is, let me just go back. The moon's heading into the sign of Leo. And when that happens, your attentions are going to absolutely fall into that sense of belonging, that sense of community, that sense of meeting up with people that you like and care about. Often people that you've got shared interests with, people that I guess are like your peer group, your kin. It could be brothers, sisters, cousins, but it could equally just be the people you see on a day-to-day basis, maybe in your neighborhood or when you go to work. And so it's quite a busy time when the moon comes through this part of your chart. And on the 9th, which is Tuesday, we've got a slightly spiky energy going on between Mars in Sagittarius up to Saturn in Pisces, and it's across the 7th house and the 10th house, which are very strong houses. You know, the 7th is all about your relationships and what your partners are needing. And so with Mars here in this quite ferocious aspect on the 9th, you might find that the people that you're interacting with are a lot more strident than usual. They're a lot more, ooh, don't like that, you know, and a lot more defiant, you know, a lot, you know, like grr. And in the square to Saturn in the 10th house, you might find that there is this feeling of disruption and conflict between you as an authority figure and the energy of somebody who is wanting to be quite authoritative towards you. So you might find the people around you are grr at you, you know, like they're really growly and grouchy and kind of signaling their superiority. And weirdly enough, you might find the people around you are seeing you as being a bit up yourself, a little bit superior. And so it's a very sort of difficult situation, because who's really doing what, you'll never know. All you'll know is how it feels. And so if you've got anything big on that day where that energy could really come out, it might be worth sort of visually and mentally rehearsing how you might play that energy. My advice, I think, would be to enter into the spirit of the moon, which right at that time is in the 3rd house, which is about connection, collaboration, friendliness, and sharing. It's not about secluding. It's not about just giving a tiny little fragment of information to your work colleague. It's about sharing everything and not worrying that they might use their superiority against you. So I think if you can foster that openness, it's more likely to go better. But if you go into any kind of situation assuming that someone's going to use their authority against you, you're unlikely to behave in that kind of kind and open and transparent way. And, you know, that would almost presuppose that your interactions will be like spiky. On the 10th, which is Wednesday, the moon heads into the sign of Virgo, where it's going to be until Friday the 12th. Now, when the moon is in Virgo, it is going to pick up on the nodal situations that are going on. And it's likely to make you feel quite tired, a lot less interested in what the world is saying, and a lot more interested in what's going on at internal position. You know, this isn't a time when you're wanting to have fights. This isn't a time when you're wanting to go into battle and make assertions. This is a time when you want to be a bit sleepy and gentle and kind to yourself. So Wednesday, like Tuesday into Wednesday, I would say rest if you want to, but plan things that are going to feel nice and nourishing. Don't go hell for leather in trying to assert yourself in a new business. To me, this is about how you can be kind to yourself, because when you're kind to yourself, everyone else is going to benefit from that kindness. Everyone will feel it. Now, something else that's also happening on that day, another reason why I've said what I'm saying, you've got Mercury in your 6th house and Uranus in your 12th. And so it may well feel like there's something unconscious that's being projected out into the workplace, or into the place where you're doing business, the place where you're busy, the place where things need to be accurate and factual and quick and timely and uncluttered, you know. And Mercury is your ruling planet, and sure, he's gone direct, which is great. It's a huge sigh of relief after that retrograde of a couple of weeks ago. However, this this is part of a bigger pattern. And I did a separate video with forecasts about the Uranus and the Mercury oppositions, because I think there were 4 of them, and this is the last one. Yeah, at least 3, possibly 4. But this is the last one, and this is the one where you can clear the energy up. So I don't know what kind of misunderstanding has occurred. To me, Mercury here is really trying to hold on to a story. So if you've got a story running about how your life is and how it has to be and blah, 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 you might find that there's something unconscious going on that's going to knock you off your balance a little bit, to really say, look, just let go of those stories. Those stories, you're holding on to them for dear life. And that might be why you get a bit of resistance, because other people are like, I can see that's a story. That's not really their truth. Other people can see it really easily. So that's something to watch out for. Now, also on that day, Neptune is going direct, having been retrograde since the 4th of July. And when Neptune goes direct, he's going direct at 29 degrees in the sign of Pisces. This is the very last degree of the zodiac. Now, the zodiac starts at 0 Aries. In truth, it just goes around and around and around. It's a complete circle. But, you know, as with, you know, a snake eating its tail, there is a start and a finish. There is that point of the mouth. You know, there is this implied starting point of 0 Aries, and it goes all the way around to 29 Pisces. Now, this is where Neptune, the great dissolver and illusionist of the solar system, is dissolving the story. So, you know, there's this story you're clinging on to at the same time when Neptune rights himself and moves forward. So to me, this is really suggesting there's an old work story. You've held onto it for too long. The moon is down here and you're quite comfortable and you're thinking, okay, maybe it's time to just give up that thought that I've got about myself, because it's not bringing me the happiness I wanted. And maybe it's time to just leap forwards without a story and see where I land. And so this is about you really letting go. Now, the following day, which is Thursday, the 11th, there's even more letting go. And so this is why I think, you know, Wednesday is a day of revelation. You know, these new thoughts come. This story's not helping me. On Thursday and into Friday, we're in a release phase. And the reason I say that is on Thursday, the 11th, Venus is exactly in a T-square with the nodes. She's working with the nodes, really showing where things from the past, things from your childhood, in particular beliefs and behaviors from possibly from childhood, are playing into your current working relationships in such a way that it's preventing your success. And so there is this natural feeling of, okay, what have I carried from my childhood that is impeding my success? On that day as well, Mercury goes into an exact trine with Neptune that's going forwards, and it's allowing you to sort of dissolve this pattern, or at least recognize this pattern. And then also on this day, Mercury shifts forwards into the 7th house, into the place of relationships. And again, Mercury is your ruling planet. He rules your home and your persona, your identity, and all of that. So I really think, you know, Thursday the 11th is a huge release day where lots of great stuff is going to come forwards. Now, as we move further forwards, the moon will go into the sign of Libra on Friday the 12th. And then on Saturday the 13th, we've got this penetrating insight, again, from your ruling planet. Mercury makes an exact sextile with Pluto. You are right on the money. It's almost like once you let go of your stories, all of a sudden you're giving yourself permission to see new patterns. And in that permission you've given yourself, you see something new and you're like, how did I not see that before? But it's I would say it is new information at a partnership level, at a colleague level, possibly at a client level. And it's allowing you to feel a lot more independent, a lot freer, a lot more in alignment with yourself. But it's penetrating insight. You know, whatever you're discovering and realizing is super helpful. It's going to really almost like I'm seeing like like laser beams, you know, like Superman has. He's like burning through all the guff around everything. Like everything is just kind of melting away like ice, you know, and you're penetrating into something that you really want to look clearly into. And then finally, on Sunday the 14th, God, that's just such a big week, isn't it? On Sunday the 14th, there's two aspects that I think are really helping you to come through any disillusionment. So you could say this whole week is about getting much clearer, like seeing what's not working, getting clearer, moving beyond it. The first part of this is a sort of disillusionment aspect between Mars and Neptune. You know, Mars is about to change signs. Neptune will, but not quite yet, not until January. But they're in a tight square together, an exact square. And Mars, who usually feels raring to go, ready to take action, is suddenly in a bit of a confidence situation, feeling a bit disenchanted, a bit like, I don't know if I can take the next step, a bit depressed, possibly. I'm going to say you're not depressed, unless you actually are, but like not from this aspect, you know, because this is going to be gone in a couple of days. This is just coming in, hitting hard on Sunday the 14th. You might be feeling a bit disillusioned, like, I thought I was this, and now all the energy's gone. And it's like, whoa. However, on that same day, and this is where it comes in, so that happens first, you might lose your footing and feel, oh, I thought I knew it, I thought I had this. But stay confident, recognize, oh, Louisa said this might happen, and then expect the sun to come into this lovely exact trine with Chiron. Because when that happens, this is seeing clearly, seeing the truth over the fantasy, and also seeing truth over the misconception that you've lost your energy, you've lost your mojo, you don't know what's happened to it. This is healing. This is vulnerability. This is allowing you to recognize sometimes you can have moments where you don't feel quite as strong, but it's not to say you failed, you've made a mistake. It's just you're a human and you're having an off day, and it's fine. It will pass and then you'll be back on it again. But really, on Sunday the 14th, vulnerability is the medicine. And that is just where I want to leave this, because I really do think that the vulnerability is the thing that's going to help you move beyond that and feel fantastic as you're going into the next week ahead. Now, if you like the way I approach these insights and these readings, then you might consider working with me or joining my membership. With membership, from 2026, I'm going to be doing 3 lessons a week, teaching astrology right from scratch. And we've got a really nice feeling in the school where my community is. You know, we can bring our charts and work in a group, you know, on a Zoom call. So that's there as a support. I also do regular forecast Monday to Friday and 2 weekly ones as well for each sign of the zodiac on school. So there's so much more intel there where you'll get a bit more from me. But I'm also taking I'm also connecting with people on a year-long project. So I've got a 2026 mentorship program where I work with a defined amount of people, a small amount of people, I should say, and I've still got a few places. And so if you would like to work with me on a monthly basis to take apart your chart, to see your chart from a whole new perspective, to learn so much about yourself on a month-by-month basis, then just get in touch. All of my details are below, and they're also on the channel page. Just invite me to work with you, and it's as simple as that. So wishing you a wonderful week ahead, and catch up with you all soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.